And this week we're welcoming Dave Slinger. Hi Dave.
I'm good, thanks Barry, how are you?
Good. And now Dave's from Life Energy Designs. So we met up, don't know, years ago, eh?
A few years ago now.
One of the Hamilton Mind, Body and Soul festivals. And at that stage you'd come across the orgone design for the negator, hadn't you?
Yes, that's right, yes.
Tell us that, because that's quite a good story, that, how it all sort of evolved for you, you know.
Okay, yeah, well my wife Margie and I were living in Kenya, and for our sins we'd built a house on the burial grounds for the slaves that didn't make it as part of the Arab slave trade. So for those out there that are familiar with energies, you can imagine that the energy was a little bit disturbed by this practice. So we dug up quite a few bones whilst we were building the house, and the whole energy of the place, although it was really beautiful, it was right on the beach, palm trees, but the whole energy of the place was stained by this slave trade, and particularly where we lived. So Margie was getting night terrors. She was waking up in the middle of the night screaming. We were getting psychic attack. Things were pretty scary for a while. And then I went looking for information. I realised we were dealing with disturbed energy, and of course, where do you look for information these days? Mrs. Google. And I was lucky enough to find this technology which is known as orgonite, which is a derivative of Wilhelm Reich's technology. Wilhelm Reich was an Austrian-American scientist. He discovered a form of energy which he called orgone, which of course the Chinese have known as qi for thousands of years, the Japanese ki, and the scientists are now calling 0 point. We call it life energy. So it was a derivative of his technology in combination with crystals. So what the technology does is it moves energy and presents it to the crystals, and it can have a really powerful effect on its environment. So we went to the local tourist crystal shops, bought some crystals, went to the workshops in Mombasa and got some metal shavings, and we've got some boat resin, and we put all these things together, made some devices, and suddenly the night terrors stopped, the psychic attacks stopped, and you could feel the whole energy of the place shift, and that was the last we saw of that. So we realised then we had something pretty exciting, and of course when it came time to move on and come to these fair islands of New Zealand, we thought this is something that needs to get out there.
Yeah, because Reich was a sort of fascinating bloke as well. He had some problems, though, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he really cooked his own goose, so to speak. For those of you familiar with the way that the world works, it's quite dangerous to come up with a cure for cancer or to start playing around with the weather, and he did both. He actually created what he called his orgone accumulators, which basically looks like a dunny it was a wooden box with wood and metal panels in layers, and what happened is that he used to put a patient inside, and that would bring in the ambient life energy and project it into the body of the patient in quite a massive way, and he actually managed to cure some people of advanced stages of cancer. Now that's there's quite a lot of vested interest there, and the powers that be found an excuse to lock him up in prison, and where they poisoned him. So he met an early demise. So he was also playing around with the weather. He was drawing energy from the sky, affecting the weather patterns, and that's also a pretty dangerous thing to do. So in combination, he painted a target on his head. But fortunately, his technology lived on. His books are still available, and there's quite a movement to create these devices based on his work.
Yeah, because there's a lot of information out there, that that's been suppressed probably. you know, like the same thing, the life energy and the 0 point.
Oh
stuff.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
And
two words, Barry: vested interest.
yeah, big money.
Yeah, big money. You know that those two words have what suppressed a lot of things that would have been beneficial to us today.
But you've surpassed that, haven't you? You've not worried about it. It's a bit like me. You know, we don't worry about things like that. This is what I'm doing. You like it or you don't. Over to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we came here to New Zealand, it was just one of the ideas that we had is this technology needed to get out there. We'd seen what it could do, so we started to make some funky little devices in the shed out of resin, you know, metal shavings and some fine crystals that we got. We travelled up and down the country. This is when we met you. We were doing all the New Age shows, people picked up on what they were doing pretty quickly, you know, and they really did sell well. And very quickly we realised some of their potential. So, one of the first things we noticed was that people were sleeping better. We actually sorted out insomnia for a lot of people, and the reason that this technology will do that is because it's moving and harmonizing energy. It creates a harmonizing energy field, and our personal energy fields are constantly under attack. And one of the things that's attacking them is electromagnetic pollution, and that's basically the radiation that comes off of all our toys, you know, our computers, cell phones. All that stuff is coming at us at a rate of 100 million times more than our grandparents' generation.
Yeah.
So our bodies obviously haven't adapted to deal with it, and they're in a constant state of stress. And depending on how sensitive you are, you can be really quite stressed out by this stuff. And in that state, you're not likely to be sleeping too well. So if you present something to the body that's going to give it some kind of protection, then all of a sudden you can remove that problem. And that's on the strength of that we've got a lot of our devices out there.
Yeah, I know a lot of my friends and most of my family have got it, you know, at that time, those years ago. Yeah, and because there's a quite sort of range on the sizes you had of those that were...
Well, we basically made two sizes of those. They were definitely quite funky and very effective.
Yeah.
But we reached the point where it's like, this technology really does need to get out there. But if I'm in the shed making them, I'm not able to get out and promote it. So the evolution from those early devices was through a pendant, in that one of our wholesale customers said, well, you know, can't you make something to hang around the neck? And the nature of the material we're working with would have made something, would have been quite bulky, and would have looked really, really funky, you know, and it wouldn't have been definitely wouldn't have been everybody's cup of tea. And then both on the same day, both Margie and I were downloaded the information as to, you know, how we could do that and make it a bit more compact, and that was to introduce coils. And what coils do is they accelerate the whole process in that they spin the energy. The life energy loves to travel in spirals, and if you know that the shape of our DNA, you can probably put two and two together and work out, you know, why there's this affinity. So you present a curly path to it, and it will travel around that path. So you present a coil, and it spins. So all of a sudden you're creating a vortex and accelerating the whole process. So you've got this vortex of energy flowing through these high quality crystals, and all of a sudden you've got something you can wear around your neck.